Hi friends, welcome to the channel. Sunshine Squirrel here. I'm so excited today. We are going to be doing a deep dive into Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. This is kind of a little series I'm doing. So I'm doing a video with Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, and then I'm making a part 2 to this video that is all about Jollywood Nights. I went to the opening nights of both of these events. If you're interested in seeing a live stream for both of them, you can click the link above where you can watch both of the events. I'll take you around to all the shows, characters, dining, all of that. But if you want a summary of what is the most important and if these events are really worth the cost, keep watching this video. All right, guys, so last week was the first ever Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party of this season on Thursday night. I did attend this opening event, and there's lots of things that I learned that I wish now in hindsight that I had known before I went to the event. So the first thing that I want to talk about in this video is your arrival time. So if you purchase a ticket for Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party and you don't currently have an annual pass or a same-day park ticket, then you are going to be allowed to enter Magic Kingdom at 4 p.m. If you are an annual pass holder or you're a resort guest that has individual park tickets, you can enter Magic Kingdom anytime you want. Now, if you are in that category where you can enter before 4 o'clock, I would absolutely take advantage of this. Typically at 3 o'clock is when a lot of people will arrive at Magic Kingdom and begin to line up to have entrance into the park. So you'll see that if you wait till closer to that 4 o'clock hour, there's going to be very long lines that extend outside of Magic Kingdom. Typically, you're then going to have to go through security, then the ticket entrance, and then get your wristband. And a lot of times, even just kind of getting through the gates from the ticket can be a challenge because depending upon if your ticket's on your phone or on a piece of paper, there can be delays with the barcode scanning. So if you have the opportunity to get in before 4 o'clock, definitely take advantage of this. The other thing that I'm going to mention is that at 4 o'clock is really when a lot of the beginning or kind of soft events for that party begin. So for example, at 4 o'clock is when you're going to begin to be able to buy the exclusive merchandise for this event. There are 2 stores within Magic Kingdom that sell the merchandise. One is the Emporium, which is basically your main gift shop hub for Magic Kingdom. It's right down Main Street. And the section of this store that sells the merchandise is in the middle, and it's called the seasonal section. It typically has a really large replica of Cinderella's castle, and against the back wall, you're going to see all of the merch for this party. Now, typically there is a queue that's already forming of individuals waiting to purchase this merchandise. And if merchandise is something that is really important to you and something that you absolutely want for this event, you're going to want to get your merchandise first, right at that 4 o'clock hour if you can. Typically, the cast members there will scan either your ticket or a paper or even a digital copy that you have on your phone. You don't have to have your wristband at that point to purchase merchandise, but they'll let a few guests in at a time to that sectioned off location within the store to shop. And this year, merchandise, typically involved Spirit jerseys. It was around $80. There's also 2 t-shirts. One is an annual pass holder exclusive, so you have to be an AP to get that one. And then there's another one that is for non-annual pass members, and they have that one in adults and children's sizes. The Spirit jersey was also in adults and children's sizes. Spirit jersey, like I said, was $80. The t-shirts were $40. They also have a collectible pin and a mug, and then even like a little pot holder kind of kitchen utensil set. Right now at the parks, they are offering 20% off for annual pass holders. But I will say that for my family of 4, I think after the discount, the total cost for the merchandise was around $460. So definitely keep this in mind that merchandise can kind of get a little bit pricey, especially if you're planning on getting some of those Spirit jerseys. Now, the other location that you can purchase merchandise is going to be Mickey's Star Traders, and that is in Tomorrowland. And same for that, just like the Emporium, merchandise sales begin at 4 o'clock. Now, if you are already in the park prior to the 4 o'clock hour, there are 2 options to get your wristband. So you can either exit the park and re-enter, which I would not recommend. And then the other option is to go to Tomorrowland, right outside of Monsters Inc. in front of Stitch's Greatest Escape attraction is where you're going to find a wristband disbursement if you're already inside of Magic Kingdom. At this location, you're going to get your wristband for the party. This year, it was like a cotton cloth, not the plastic. And then you're also going to get a program/map for the event, and then your commemorative ornament. It's a toy soldier that says Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party 2023. And I always like to say that just because I know for a lot of these parties, it can be kind of expensive. And then on top of that, if you're paying for merchandise as well, but it's nice that you automatically get a little souvenir. So if you don't want to buy any merchandise or it's just not in the budget this time, just know that you will also get an ornament that's included with your admission for this event as a keepsake souvenir. All right, so let's talk about the shows for this event. Now, there are two main shows. So the first new show is going to be Frozen, a Frozen holiday surprise, and this is going to be one of the castle shows. So it's going to take place right in front of Cinderella's castle. And the second show, also in front of the castle, is Mickey's Most Merriest Celebration. Both of these are brand new for the 2023 season. The Frozen show actually takes place outside party hours as well. It happens at 6:15, and the Park of Magic Kingdom closes at 6 on nights of the party. So if you are not attending Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, you too can see this show on your way out. The party official show is around 8:15, which is right before the first parade, which is at 8:30. Now, Mickey's Most Merriest Celebration has multiple show times throughout the night, with the first show time beginning at 7:40. Now, for both of these shows, I will say that guests tend to line up really, really early. On the night that I attended the park, people were lining up for these shows starting at 5:30, and they would kind of stake their claim for both of the shows and the parade and not move. So if catching a front row view of the shows is really important to you, you're going to want to make sure that you get to the castle really, really early. Now, I will throw this out there that in front of Cinderella's castle right now, there is a hedge wall, so it's kind of to keep people further back. And if you stand right in front of that hedge, you're not going to be able to see anything. So it is a good idea when you're lining up for these castle shows to stand a little bit a ways back. My strategy when I went to see the show was to have a spot for the show and the parade. So I made sure that I picked a spot where I could see both. If you're interested in actually seeing the shows and the parade for this year, I'll put a link in the description bar above and below. I live streamed the event, so if you want to get an idea, or if you want to be surprised, just wait to be surprised. But if you want to see if these shows are actually something that you want to wait around for, go ahead and click the link. Now, throughout the party, there's actually what I call individual parties. So if you head over to Cosmic Rays, there's actually a specific party for kids. It's called Disney Junior Jingle Jam. And basically, your favorite Disney Junior characters come out, there's a DJ, and they're playing music, and the kids can get on the dance floor and rock out with Doc Stuffins, Vampira, and oddly enough, Timon was there from The Lion King. I don't know why he was there, but the kids loved it. So if you have little ones, this is a party that is within the party specifically for them. There's also Club Tinsel, which is the theater that is right outside of the Carousel of Progress and Space Mountain in Tomorrowland. And at this location, they have Chip and Dale. They come out and dance. They have two elves that also come out and dance. And then they also have the Collective Five, which is, I guess I would say, like a pop, hip hop boy band that comes out, sings and dances as well. So these are just some additional shows or parties within the party that you can also attend. Now, the other event that takes place during the party that's really popular is Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas Time Parade. There are two times for this show. So one is going to be at 8:30 and the other option is at 11 o'clock. Just like with the shows, people line up early for this parade. So if it's something that you really want to check out, make sure that you line up early, or even divide and conquer. Have some of your family members line up for the parade while the other ones go on and do other events and activities throughout the party. All right, so now let's talk characters. So the one thing about the Christmas party that I think was a little bit of a challenge is that they have these blue inflatable cylinders that stand outside of different buildings, and it signifies that there's a character meetup. but there typically isn't a sign that tells you which character is there. So oddly enough, you could get in line and wait quite a good amount of time before you even know which character you're standing in line for. So I would highly recommend, if there's a cast member outside of that location, asking them which character it is and the wait time, because wait times are not posted. I really wanted to get my picture with Scrooge McDuck at this party, and his meet and greet is actually in the circus area outside of the Dumbo attraction. And I asked a cast member how long the wait time was, and she said 45 minutes. And for me, that was just too much time to give up for the party to do that. So I passed on that. But, you know, if characters are something that is really important to you and something that you really want to take advantage of during this party, you're going to want to go and do the character meetups first as soon as the party starts, and not wait till later on in the night like I did. My strategy was to do the shows and the parade first and then characters, but it kind of backfired a little bit because by that time the lines for the characters were really long. There's tons of characters during this event. Some ones that I saw were Ariel and Prince Eric. There was Aurora, Prince Charming, Mary Poppins, Scrooge, Minnie Mouse, Daisy Duck, tons and tons of character opportunities. So if you really want to see characters, you can catch them here. Now, the other thing I want to talk about while we're still on the subject of characters is that if you are a Disney Vacation Club member, there is a special meet and greet that is exclusive for you. It's at Gaston's Tavern, and Gaston is inside. You get to get your picture with him. And then after getting your picture, you get a special treat. You get a mini cinnamon roll. If you're unfamiliar, Gaston Tavern is famous for having colossal, really decadent cinnamon rolls. So you get a mini one, and then you also get a cup of LeFou's Brew, which is a non-alcoholic beverage. It's basically frozen Minute Maid apple juice topped with a mango foam. So safe for kids to eat. And actually, I would say pretty tasty. And like I said, it's all included with just being a Disney Vacation Club member. All you have to do is show your DVC or your blue card on your phone. Now we're on the topic of shows and characters. I also would be amiss if I didn't mention the fireworks show. Now, the fireworks show, also known as Minnie's Wonderful Christmas Time Fireworks Show, occurs just once, and it's at 10 p.m. There are tons of locations where you can watch the show. Fantasyland, the bridge that leads from Main Street into Tomorrowland, in front of the castle, and even on Main Street. If you are at certain locations, though, you can't appreciate all of the show. So if you're down Main Street, then you can appreciate projections on the castle and on the walls of the buildings on Main Street. If you're in front of the castle, you'll see the projections on the castle, but not on the Main Street buildings. If you're at that bridge that leads from Fantasyland to Tomorrowland, you're just going to see the projections on the castle. And then if you're in Fantasyland and even some parts of Frontierland, you're just going to see fireworks. But they pump the music in everywhere. The one thing I will say is that I chose to watch the show on the bridge that leads into Tomorrowland because I figured it wouldn't be as crowded, and it wasn't. But I will say the fireworks were like right over my head, and so a lot of times I was like trying to look up at the fireworks, and they pumped in the music, but there's also dialogue that goes along. So I'm not going to give any spoilers because I hate when people do that, but there was like characters that were talking and I could hear their voice from a distance, but I couldn't actually determine all that they were saying. So it seems like they pumped the best audio in front of the castle and down Main Street. So just keep that in mind, but understand that those areas are going to be packed with people. So if you don't like to be in tight spaces with lots of people, I would pick one of those other spots, just knowing that the audio is not going to be as great. Another element of the show is going to be PhotoPass. If you have PhotoPass, there are tons of special PhotoPass opportunities for you. Even some of the character meet and greets as well, they do have a special PhotoPass. So make sure that you have that on your Magic Band, on your My Disney Experience app, so you can swipe that and then you can take advantage of that too. All right, guys, so now let's talk about the food. So if you've never been to Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party before, you get cookies and a beverage at certain locations throughout the park, included with your admission. There are also specialty dining options as well that you can pay for out of pocket. I'll be honest, when I go to this event, I just like to take advantage of the things that are included with my ticket. So I will let you guys know that this year they had 5 different types of cookies. There was chocolate chip, sugar, gingerbread, red velvet, and snickerdoodle. Now the beverages that they had included hot cocoa, eggnog, and hot apple cider. And then the locations that you are going to find the cookie distribution always are going to have a candy cane inflatable cylinder, kind of like with the character meet and greet. So they're going to have those outside of the locations, and there's a total of 5 locations. So it's going to be 2 in Tomorrowland. One is at the lunching pad, which is right under the People Mover. The other is going to be Cosmic Rays, which is also where they have the Disney Junior show. Then at Adventureland, you're going to want to head to Pinocchio's Village House. You're going to head to then Liberty Square to get to Columbia Harbor House. And then in Adventureland as well, you're going to hit up Tortuga Tavern, which is right across from Pirates of the Caribbean. Now at each of these locations, they're going to have a different cookie and a different beverage. And then you can get as many cookies, as many beverages as you want. All the cookies come pre-packaged as well, which is super convenient, so that if you don't want to eat them there, you can easily stuff it in a bag, backpack, and hang on to it for another time. So a little side note about merchandise, guys, that I wanted to mention is that sometimes it can be kind of annoying when you purchase merchandise at the beginning of the party or even before the party begins to carry it around. So I would highly recommend, if you're planning on purchasing merch, to make sure you bring a backpack or a shoulder bag, something that's comfortable for you to carry the merch. If you're staying at a Disney resort, I stayed at a Disney resort for this past trip, and basically we had a couple members of our party that went back to the room and took the merchandise back. So then for the rest of the party, no one had to worry about carrying it around. So if you arrive early for the parties, that is an advantage, because party time doesn't officially start until 7 o'clock. So that's also a benefit of getting there early. You can get your merch. If you want to purchase one of those specialty holiday popcorn buckets or sippers, get all that stuff and then drop it off back at the room. And a sidebar that I want to mention, guys, is that if you download the My Disney Experience app on your mobile device, you can actually download a copy of Mickey's Very Merry Christmas guide. Within that guide, it's going to show you show times, dining options. There's even a map that you can click on so that you can see everything in a digital format if you prefer that over the handheld map or guide that they'll give you at the party. All right, guys, so now let's get to kind of the meat and potatoes of this discussion. So I know a lot of you out there were sticking through to this part of, is it worth the money? Is Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party worth the $150? Well, I would say it all depends upon what is important to you. If you are someone that, likes the parks, really wants to see all of the Christmas decorations, but you hate the crowds, you don't like waiting in long queues, this event could be really beneficial for you and for your family to be able to get on those heavy hitter attractions, which are open. There are 2 attractions during the parties that have holiday overlays. Jingle Cruise, which is the Jungle Cruise overlay in Adventureland, which also has the overlay during regular park admission, but tends to be very crowded and have long wait times. And then in Tomorrowland, Space Mountain, as you're going through on that roller coaster, they play holiday Christmas themed music that does not happen during the day for most park days and only happens at the party. So if those are kind of your goals, that you really want to hit certain things that are popular during the day, it may be worth it for you. However, I would say paying for Lightning Lane is a lot cheaper than paying for Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, which at minimum is $150 per adult. Now there is a reduced cost for children, and if you are an AP or a DVC member, you get $10 off per ticket, but just kind of keep that in mind. The other thing I would say is that the parade that occurs during the party is also the parade that you can see during Christmas week. So if you are going to be at the parks during Christmas week, they're going to do the same parade. One year when I was at the parks during that week, not only did I get to see the parade, but the cookies that they had at the Christmas party, they actually were giving them out at the resort I was staying at for free. So just kind of keep that in mind, that, I had one person tell me during that week that they regretted paying for the Christmas party because everything that they basically had paid for, they saw it all happen again during that time. So depending upon when you're going to be traveling to the parks, you may want to hold off on the Christmas party and then just wait for the festivities to officially begin for all resort guests. The other thing that I would like to mention is that, for the cookies, hot cocoa, and apple cider, is it worth going to the party just for the cookies and apple cider and hot cocoa? I don't really think so, you know, especially like I said, that they will end up giving these items away. And, you know, you can kind of get these sort of cookies anywhere. There's nothing special about them. Like I said, they're prepackaged cookies. So some people like to go to these parties because they like to partake in these specialty offerings that you can only get during these parties. But you also got to keep in mind that you have to purchase these options. They're not included with your ticket, just like merchandise. You have to include that separately. I think that Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party is a great option if you are not going to be at the parks in December, kind of during that Christmas week, heavier, closer to Christmas season. I would advise you though that you may not want to go during the first couple of parties or when the parks first switch over to Christmas time decorations. I was at the parks last week and I can tell you that they were packed. It seemed to me that it was even worse crowds than at Christmas time. And I've been at the parks at Christmas time. I've been there at Thanksgiving, major holidays. And I would say that this was probably the worst amount of crowds that I've seen in a long time. So just keep that in mind. Also, if you're planning on going to the parties, I would try to pick a night that's not a weekend, because when you have a weekend party, you're going to have vacationers and locals. If you go during like a Monday night, Tuesday night, a weekday, you're less likely to get local traffic and more of just fellow vacationers. All right, guys, well, let me know in the comments below if you are planning on attending one of the Christmas parties this year, your thoughts. If you like this video, please make sure to leave a thumbs up to let me know, subscribe for more, and if you're looking for more Christmas discussions, head on over to the link above where I do a video talking all about Disney's Jollywood Nights and your guide to that as well. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.